um, Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. I am back. Yes, I know. The last time I uploaded a YouTube video on here was months ago, last year, middle of last year, I think. Yeah. But I am back. Listen, y'all, life has been lifing. And I mean, but we move. We kept it moving. And we're here now, and it is a new year. So let's just get right into the video. So I watched this Netflix series called His and Hers. Such a good series. And let me tell you, it is not the kind of show I expected at all. This is actually the show that, it made me break my YouTube silence, I can say, because there's one part in that series that really hit me that I want to talk about. I want to talk about how two people can experience the same pain but grieve in completely different languages. And honestly, yeah, that's what pulled me in. If you've ever been in a relationship or even just try to communicate with another human being, we all know, you already know how we do not feel things the same as human beings. We do not process things the same, and we definitely do not grieve the same. His and hers takes that reality to the extreme for me, at least. For those who have not seen it, please do. The storyline is crazily good, very good. So, shortly, here's the non-spoiler version. His and Hers is based on a novel, of course, written by a lady named Alice Finney. I hope I pronounced that word. It follows Anna, a news anchor played by Tessa Thompson, and Jack, a detective, who was played by John Bertald. God, I hope I'm pronouncing these names right. They used to be married, and then something terrible happened that blew up their marriage. Yeah. So Anna disappeared from her life and the life of her families for a while. Then there's a murder in the Jack's summer hometown town, and Anna ends up covering the story. So now they are both forced back into each other's orbit doing a homicide investigation. They are both carrying grieved, guilt, suspicion, and of course unfinished history. Now there's a scene in episode 4 that perfectly shows how grief can pull two people apart even when they are both hurting and in love. In this episode, they finally get to talk about what happened. Spoiler alert, I have to talk about this because that's why I am making this video, but trust me, it's not even close to what the movie is truly about or how good the movie is. Okay. So they've lost their only child, right? And this is what caused the grieving. So during that talk, Anna talks about, the inside part of guilt. She speaks from instinct, fear, guilt, and emotional aftermath. Jack talks from the outside part of the guilt. He tries to stabilize, to rationalize, to fix, to help. None of them are wrong, but they are not understood. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think in many relationships, especially heterosexual ones, there's also this always this unspoken pattern where men wants to go into fixing mode, but women want to go into feeding mode. So when tragedy comes, one partner collapses inwards, what one wishes outwards, and both assume the other is, falling. So Anna, she felt dismissed, and he felt shut out. So now these two people, they are grieving the same person, but they are both feeling completely alone. And the sad part is that, both are hurting, but their pain, it's not compatible. So this is how real marriages end or relationship. Not always because of betrayal or lack of love. Sometimes it is simply because nobody teaches us how to suffer together. I mean, His and Hers shows something I think people rarely talk about. It shows how grief can make you want to run. It shows how guilt can make you stay in all the wrong ways. It shows how two people can genuinely love each other and still not survive the same tragedy. Anna and Jack are both grieving the same child, but they are grieving completely different losses. That's what I thought. That's what I do think. So Anna is grieving the internal experience of motherhood, the intuition, the responsibility, and the bodily connection to her child. So she feels like she failed to protect something that literally came from her body. And Jack, on the other hand, he's grieving the relational experience. So he's grieving the how do I say? He's grieving the future, the family unit, the role of fatherhood, the stability that that was supposed to exist. Same child, different grief, and those griefs do not align. So before the child died, actually in the movie, Anna kept saying something like, something was not right, that her body or her instinct was, alarmed. But then when she told Jack, he responded with solutions. So things like, oh, maybe you should take time off work, or maybe you should let your mom help, or maybe the child is just being, fussy because, she's a child. He was not dismissing her though, but he was trying to regulate the environment. And that is how many men cope. And I think their instinct is if I can fix this problem, I can keep my family safe, which may not always work out. For Anna, meanwhile, her instinct was if you do not take my intuition into consideration, or if you don't take it seriously, um, you're not protecting the child, you're not protecting our child. So it was not that he did not listen. It was that he listened using the wrong, how do I word this? Wrong language of support. Let's put it that way. So after the child died, that difference exploded. Jack tried to hold Anna, because he was drowning and he needed connection as well. That Anna interpreted that as, her grief that was being interrupted. The emptiness was all she had left of her child. Yeah, listen, I don't know, but that feeling is very weird because I thought about this. I had to pause the episode and to think about this because I think like many grieving mothers, they hold on to pain because feels like letting go feels like they're losing their child again, if that makes sense. So I think from Anna's view, Jack's attempts to comfort felt like minimizing or rushing or erasing um memories and threatening her own grief. So from his view, her withdrawal, because I think she withdrew, it felt like abandonment, rejection, lack of partnership, and no space to grieve together. Because she wanted to be alone and he did not. So both are true at the same time. So when people ask, because she ended up leaving and disappearing. So I was wondering, like, why would she leave without warning? So I think it's because trauma sends people into this survival mode. It's either you fight, you flee, or you freeze. So for her, she fled. That's what she chose. And I think it's not because she did not care. I think it's because she was overwhelmed. Yeah, she was overwhelmed by the grief she felt. And probably, it could not be shared for her. And sharing felt like betraying the child, I think. And it's not mature, but grief is not rational. It wires the brain. It rewires the brain. Yeah, it does that. So, was she wrong and was he wrong? Honestly, right? I think there's no manual for this. I also think couples break down during tragedy and people, human beings as a whole, break down during tragedy because we expect the other person or the people in our lives to grieve the same way. Like we expect support in the same language we give support. And we then mistake coping differences for lack of love. Yeah, as I'm talking about this, is like my frontal lobe is being developed because I'm learning. I'm learning along the way as well. So I think Jack was not wrong for trying to hold Anne, and Anne was not also wrong for needing to drown in silence. I think in this case, I'm actually Jack. I don't think I'll need space. They were simply incompatible in grief, which I cannot imagine what that is like. But that is what makes the whole story and the movie messy because human beings we are messy, obviously. In real life, people leave, people leave silently, people ghost, people drown in words, people isolate, people try to fix instead of feel. People interpret comfort as intrusion, you know, and people interpret solitude as maybe someone trying to, reject help or as rejection. So when people ask maybe like, how is this supposed to work? Good question. I don't know. Honestly, the thing is, I think sometimes it's not supposed to work. Sometimes people survive tragedy together, yes, and some people survive tragedy apart. Shared tragedy does not necessarily mean a guarantee shared healing. That's what I do think. Because in my head, I was like, they're both wrong and they're both right. So the movie shows that two people can live through the same tragedy and at the same time speak completely different grief languages. And sometimes love is not enough to translate. Now, is love ever enough actually for anything? That's the story for another time. But anyways, let me know if you've watched the movie or if you want to. I recommend you do and what you think about it. Let me know in the comments. And yes, I'm back. Expect to see me more. Happy New Year, lovelies. I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, share, comments. Let's interact, man. And yeah, bye, my lovelies. Mwah.